Okay. Now continuing down the list, rename is kind of obvious. Draw style. Here you can select how it is visualized. You can say that property color. I can show you that first, maybe. If I go into the sections here and I say color code, visible objects using this property, and then you see that they get different colors. And if you go into the view objects and select the color coder, you can actually see what property the different beams are using. So all the green beams are using this section with the width 180, height 120. Web thickness 9 mm and flange thickness 11 mm. Okay, now continuing down the list, we went into the draw style. You can set the color, so if we say that, okay, we select all the beams. This, say, it's not property color. You can apply. Now you see they all have this color here. Turn off the color coder. Again. You can set a different color on the beams, for instance, say that blue. We can show buckling length, address the actual length factor. So then I only applied to a single beam now, so it's not so easy to see. It's applied to all selected objects. And you see that we get to see the buckling lengths of all the beams, and it's quite a lot, so it's kind of a messy view here, so I think I'm going to just turn off that. Okay. And again, zoom. And we can continue down the list. The next action is copy to clipboard. This can very often be useful if you want to copy an object from one workspace to another, or from one assembly to another. So here the heli deck is an assembly. If I created a new assembly, I could copy things from the heli deck assembly, for instance this distance. I could copy it, and if I create a new assembly, I can paste the distance into this assembly. So there you have it, the 0 meter distance is also present here. Now, if we continue further down, you have the duplicate, which will create an exact identical object as the one you have selected. Paste from clipboard, it's just pasting in what you copied to the clipboard. Report settings and write report. All the objects can write HTML format reports. And for some of the objects that can contain a lot of interesting information. That's particularly for the analysis objects. So I will not do that right here, but you can just briefly go into this. So you specify a folder in which the report will end up. It can be any folder. And then you can specify some additional information here. I will not do that now, but and then if you write report, you can open the report. In this case it was totally empty, so for this object it was not interesting. Okay, we go further down. You can find objects using this. That can quite often be interesting to see if there's another object using this. So if I'm wondering where to find the objects that are using, for instance, a section. I can do several things. I can select them in the 3D view, or I can use this listing. Since it's very many objects, it's not so interesting for this one, but in other cases it can be very useful. And I can edit all the objects using this, which will be very impractical in this case since it's very many beams, but for other cases that can be very useful. The revisions, that's basically if you want to keep track of different revisions of this object, you can actually add here the date that you made a change, the reason, and who did it, and who approved it, and so forth. And then I think the last is just a generic comment that you can add to the object. Like this is an I-beam to be supplied by some company, etc. Just general information regarding this section. Okay, then we have been through basics there. Now if we go to the help menu, there's a button for searching the GUI. This can sometimes be useful if I have forgotten, okay, where did I find this or where did I find that? It may sometimes be very useful to be able to search the browser and all the right-click actions to see where I can find it. So in this case, for instance, if we search for this beam here, for instance, AN4, just collapse this again. If I do the search now, I will find all the objects containing this. And then, okay, if this was the one I want, I can click it here, and it automatically goes into the right folder in the browser where this object is located. That can sometimes be very useful. And here you have the very standard file menu with the usual actions. And then I think we have gone through most of the basic actions here. Now I will just do one thing to go into the draw style. Say that they have property color, and I apply it to all the selected objects using this button.